Hey everybody, my name is David Barnes. I'm part of the Emerging Technologies Group at IBM, and I am being joined today by Asher Johnson. Asher is a senior architect on our IBM Mobile Identity team. Asher, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
In a previous video, I showed mobile identity in action. And in that video, I showed a scenario of a police officer asking me for my ID. The officer used the Mobile Identity Verifier app on his phone. I used the Mobile Identity Owner app to transmit my ID to him. In that video, I mentioned that I would be covering roles and traits in another video, and so rather than do it myself, I decided to bring in a specialist. So Asher, what are traits?
So traits are the bits of information that make up your identity. They're, everything that you would have on your driver's license, for instance, they make up who you are. So I can show you an example in my Owner app. So in my North Carolina driver's license, for an example, my address, my name, my date of birth, etc. These are all traits. So an example is the address. So we have this ISO 18013 standard, ISO 08 right here.
And I think this is sort of a lead-in because he just taught me this and I did not know it. That driver's license is the same as this driver's license. Same information. That ISO standard, these little numbers on the sides of the driver's license next to like my address field, there's an 8.
Exactly.
That's for that ISO standard. I didn't know that. And so these map one for one with what the DMV already has.
Yep. And so that's just one of many standards that we follow in our system. So we have ISO 18013, for instance. So 8 describes address on the digital identity and on the physical license.
So for them to, and this isn't just for the DMV, but for them to get their existing data and put it into an electronic form like this, they don't have to change their data.
Nope.
They just map the fields, if you will.
We're just here to augment what they already do.
I love that. So that's a driver's license. Now, because this isn't just for driver's licenses, insurance card. It's got my insurance number.
Those are all traits.
That's one of my traits. Celine Dion fan club card.
All traits, they describe you as a person.
Maybe not, maybe so. So those are traits. I've heard about selectable traits. What's that?
Okay, so we can do an example here just to show that. So go ahead and issue me a challenge.
Okay, I am the police officer in this instance. I have seen his driving habits. That's why I'm going to ask for your driver's license.
And while you're setting that up, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'll accept a request for challenges in the area.
Okay, so I'm going to click on this. I will say, yes, I'm a law enforcement officer, traffic stop, and wow, I already see you.
Yep, so you sent me the request for information. So you can see right there, request for verification. So I can look at the picture and the name and see if it's you, which it's not.
It's not. It's my friend Doug. I'm not a law enforcement officer.
So if this was me in the wild, I would probably decline this challenge because I don't trust you. But because you're here and then you described this to me. So North Carolina law enforcement officer, North Carolina DMV. I see that information. I see that this comes from North Carolina. I'll accept it. So you can see whenever I get the response, you can see what you're asking for. And you're asking right here for everything in my driver's license, which is fine. You're a police officer. I trust you. But maybe, I'm just going to a bar and I don't want the bartender to see my address.
And I've heard a great example for this. When my daughter goes to a club, why does she have to give the bouncer, the doorman, her address? He doesn't need to know that.
Exactly.
So in this case, she can select just what she wants to share?
Yep. So just as easy as deselecting everything and just saying, okay, I want to send my birth date and my portrait. And that's all that they need to see. It's warning me that I'm not sending everything that I need to, but hey, it's my identity. I can do what I want. Which
is very key. You can share what you want to share.
Exactly.
Nobody can pull it out of you. And I've just received the response from you. That's it. That's you. And I see a lot of red.
Yep. So that's just warning you as the verifier that you didn't get everything that you asked for. It's showing what you asked for and what you got back. So you can see you got back the birth date and portrait, exactly what I sent across.
Why the red?
Because I didn't send it to you. I chose not to.
Okay. So this brings me to, what are roles?
So roles are what allow you to challenge for information. So there's two types of roles. There's the roles that are issued by the institution. So in this example, the North Carolina law enforcement officer. That was issued by the North Carolina DMV and it's associated with them and you can't get it any other way. The other type of roles are the generic role that we give to all verifiers. and it just allows you to ask for information generally without being associated with an institution. So maybe you're a bartender, a doorman, bodyguard, etc.
And that's where I can select just the information I want to share in any instance.
Exactly.
I can select just the information I want to share. So the driver's license came down to my phone. I requested it. It's put into a crypto blob. I love that term. From the DMV. When it's put on my phone, I cannot alter it. I know that that's real.
Exactly.
The officer knows it's real because when they communicate, there's a key pair that says, yes, this is in fact authentic. When I see the officer roll, I know that that's authentic because that came down as a crypto blob on his phone, and I know that it was issued by the DMV.
Yep. We can
cool
guarantee that everything that's on the phone is from those institutions.
That's pretty cool stuff. So in the next video, I want to come back, if you would, and show how we can map those fields like we mentioned. And it's pretty easy stuff, right?
Yep. Couldn't be easier.
Couldn't be easier. You've heard it here first. So we'll show how somebody can implement this at the issuer end. So there is the issuer, the verifier, and the owner. So if you join me, we'll come back and make that video. In the meantime, if you're interested in learning more, you can visit our website at mi.ibmjstart.com.